Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and hail to you. Welcome back to the Havamal in depth. Today I will be exploring stanza 15, where the qualities of a king's children are extolled. So join me as together we uncover the ancient wisdom of this stanza from both Old Norse and Stoic viewpoints and draw connections to the modern world. Before we get into it, the more prudent among you may have noticed that I've skipped stanza 14. I started doing my analysis on stanza 14 and realised that the messages were almost identical to stanza 13 that I covered in episode 12. But as I don't want to miss out any of the stanzas during this series, stanza 14 reads as: Drunk I was overdrunk at that cunning Fjalars. It's the best drunkenness, when everyone after regains his reason. So, aside from the same warnings to the dangers of overindulgence that I covered in the last episode, there is also an element in the sentence, it's the best drunkenness when everyone after regains his reason. For me, that highlights the benefits of sharing a few too many beverages with friends. And I don't know if wisdom and knowledge is the right word for it, but certainly it can certainly help build bonds and create new frith within our heathen communities. I know I've had a few too many drinks with heathens before, and the night after, the morning after, we've laughed about it, or the afternoon after, depending on when everyone's up. We've laughed about it, jokes have been made, and that laughter between people definitely serves to strengthen bonds. So, stanza 15 then. Taciturn and prudent, and in war daring should a king's children be. Joyous and generous everyone should be, until the hour of death. So, from an Old Norse perspective, this stanza highlights the ideal qualities expected of a king's children. They are to be taciturn and prudent, which means they should be known for their thoughtful and measured speech, especially in matters of leadership. The mention of being daring in war emphasises the courage required of a ruler's offspring. Joyous and generous, and perhaps the whole stanza actually, for me at least, suggests that these qualities are not exclusive to kings, but should be embraced by all. These qualities are to be maintained until the moment of death, underscoring their lifelong significance. And I don't think that's necessarily for children as well. I think that's for all of us. There's some really important messages in there, not just for the way we should maybe raise our children, but also for the way that we should conduct ourselves in daily lives. I think it's fair to say that in Old Norse culture, these virtues were highly valued and often upheld as societal standards, reflecting the importance of wisdom, courage, and generosity in leadership. We all have those moments where we are a leader, whether that be a parent to our children, in the workplace, amongst a crowd of friends. There are quite often moments where we take that leadership role, and this stanza and the virtues within it are important to remember during those times. If we consider, for instance, the saga of, again, I apologise if I bastardise the pronunciation of this, Egil Skallagrimsson. who was exiled by his father from Norway during the Viking Age. In this saga, Egil, a complex character, it's fair to say, embodies both the virtues and vices of a Norse hero. Despite his fierce and at times violent nature, Egil also demonstrates moments of compassion and generosity, and his journey through life serves as an example of the challenges and rewards that come with balancing qualities like prudence, courage, and generosity. If at any point, by the way, you'd like more information on the saga of Egil Skallagrimsson, or a different one, any other sagas that you'd like me to include in this podcast, please let me know, and I can at least provide further details or start adding them in to the episodes as we move along and evolve. From a Stoic perspective, this stanza resonates with Stoic virtues and principles. The Stoics emphasize prudence, courage, self-control, and in fact, courage and temperance, self-control, are two of the four central pillars of Stoicism. Taciturn prudence, for example, aligns with the Stoic emphasis on thoughtful speech and rationality, highlighting the importance of making well-considered decisions. Daring in war can be interpreted as the Stoic idea of having the courage to face life's challenges, regardless of the battlefield's form. Stoicism teaches that we should meet adversities with resilience and a calm mind. Joyous and generous corresponds to the Stoic values of joyfulness and generosity as integral components of a virtuous life. The Stoic philosopher, for example, Seneca, wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness," underlining the importance of generosity. And I realised I've mentioned Seneca throughout this series a few times without ever explaining who he is, and some of you may not know who he is. Seneca the Younger, as he was known, born around 4 BC, was a prominent Stoic philosopher, statesman, nearly said salesman then, statesman and playwright in ancient Rome. He's best known for his philosophical essays and letters, which emphasize the Stoic principles of virtue, wisdom, self-control, and also offer practical guidance on how to live a meaningful and content life. So if you haven't checked out Seneca, please do. There's a lot of learnings that you can take from his wisdom, and a lot of those learnings, despite being from 4 BC, over 2,000 years ago, are still relevant today. So how can we apply these ancient teachings to our modern lives? Well, stanza 15 encourages us to cultivate virtues that are universally valuable. Whether we hold positions of leadership or not, these qualities are relevant. In a world where thoughtful discourse and decision making are crucial, the importance of being taciturn and prudent remains evident. Courage, as the stanza suggests, is essential in facing our personal battles, whether they're literal or metaphorical. We all have them, we all go through them at times, and to stand up to them with courage can serve you very, very well in today's world. Being joyous and generous is not limited to king's children, but should be embraced by all. Absolutely one of my favourite things about being part of a heathen community is that in gatherings, and I would say even in internet interactions, Facebook, social media, heathens are generally joyous and generous. It's a thread that goes throughout, and I love that about being part of this community. But it can also, as well, by embracing it, it can remind us that joyfulness and generosity can lead to a more fulfilling and harmonious life, regardless of our station. Stanza 15 serves as a reminder of the timeless virtues that should guide our actions and decisions, regardless of our circumstances. It underscores the universal value, of wisdom, courage, joy, and generosity. And I think if we could all live by those 4 words, then we'll all live a better life. So that concludes our exploration of stanza 15, which celebrates the virtues of king's children and how we can adapt those in our everyday life. Before I sign off, I will do as I always do, and I will read stanza 15 to you one more time. Taciturn and prudent, and in war daring should a king's children be. Joyous and generous everyone should be, until his hour of death. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Havamal in Depth, and hail to you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a review, or maybe even a comment, and to let me know what you think of the show so far and what changes or evolutions you might like to see. And if you really like the series, if you could do me the honour of sharing it amongst your friends, I would be very, very grateful. So until next time, may you embrace today's timeless virtues in your own journey. Thank you. Hail to you.